Hey guys, so there are a couple more videos I want to film today. The first one being, okay, so I got a request last night on Tumblr that asked me if I could film a video talking a little bit about tips on applying to Scholastic. And since I just filmed one for Intel couple days ago, I figured, yeah, that's a really good idea. So, okay, so for those of you who don't know, my bra strap is showing. Wow, what a bright neon color, Lainey. How exciting. Okay, so for those of you who may not know, Scholastic is, so the long name for it is Scholastic Art and Writing Award, and basically it is a contest that happens every year. I'm pretty sure they start accepting submissions in around like September, and then their final deadline is usually in December. But yeah, it's a contest annually that accepts art and writing. So yeah, you can submit, and there's so many categories that they accept. That's honestly my favorite part about this contest. Like, it's not just limited to like anything. There's so many categories, and a lot of them are super unconventional, so that's pretty awesome. Let me just go on their website and read out some of the stuff, because okay. Categories. Right, so in the art categories, they have architecture and industrial design, ceramics and glass, comic art, design, digital art, drawing and illustration, editorial, cartoon, fashion, film and animation, jewelry, mixed media, painting, photography, printmaking, sculpture, video game design, and then if you're a senior, you can submit like an art portfolio that has a lot of different things in it. And then for writing categories, they have critical essay, dramatic script, flash fiction, humor, journalism, novel writing, personal essay and memoir, poetry, science fiction and fantasy, short story, and then you can also submit a writing portfolio if you're a senior. And then they also have some like special ones every year that are like sponsored by various companies. So I remember the year I was submitting, they had one sponsored by duct tape where you needed to like make some clothing item out of duct tape. So yeah, they have pretty cool things. So yeah, that's like a summary of what the contest is. Oh, on recognitions, so the actual awards, there's also quite a range of like the awards you can get, which is also one of the positives of this contest, I think. Like, because even if you're just like starting out in your exploration of like writing or art, you can still get recognized. So they have, first off, they have, what's it called, honorable mention, which I think I read one year that like the statistic for that is about 40% of applicants get an honorable mention. And then at the, not the state level, but the regional level, so a region is considered like a cluster of states. So for me, it was like the Northeast region, I think. Yeah, so at the regional level, you can get either a silver key or a gold key. And if you get a gold key, then the piece that got the gold key can like move up or like be entered into the national contest that comes out, like the results for that come out a little later. And then you can either get a silver medal, I think there's a silver medal with distinction, or you can get a gold medal. And so gold medal is like the top of the top. I think probably like, I think it was like 1% of all submissions get a gold medal. It's something like that. I think silver was like either 2% or 5%, I don't really remember. But yeah, it's super selective when you get to the national level. What's even more selective is, so when you're a senior, you can submit a portfolio, and if you get a gold medal on your portfolio, that's seen as like the supreme like criteria of excellence or whatever. That's like seen as like, wow, yeah, there we go, that's the best you can do. But yeah, so I submitted to Scholastic my junior and senior year of high school, right? Yeah. I probably should have I definitely should have submitted earlier. I was just like, I didn't really have my shit together. So if you're like in the beginning of high school or even at the end of middle school, you should definitely consider submitting to Scholastic, because Scholastic, okay, I'll get into this a little later, but the whole judging process I find is kind of random in that, like, you can submit things that you think are really good and you can submit things that you think are really bad, and there's never like a guarantee that the things that you think are good are the things that are going to get selected. A lot of times the things that I've submitted that were selected like really surprised me. So I'm just of the opinion that the more you submit and the more times you submit, the better your chances are at like getting recognition. So yeah, but basically so the whole submission process is it's very simple compared to Intel. No, even just like compared to anything, it's very simple. You make an account, you go on their like submission portal thing, and then if it's writing, it's like super easy. You just need to copy and paste your poem into the submission thing. So okay, so for poetry, it's kind of weird in that they accept both like a single poem and a collection of poems, as long as whatever this poetry submission is does not exceed 200 lines. So the minimum has to be 20 lines and the maximum is 200, and 200 is like a lot of lines, you know? So and each submission actually costs $5, so keep that in mind. That's why personally I ended up grouping together some poems instead of just submitting them individually, because I was like, well, I mean, they're kind of related in subject matter, and like because they're, okay, Scholastic, one of the other great things about it is it has kind of an archive of like all the past winners, so you can like browse through those and see what their work is like. So I had seen in the past like people submitted poetry in like groups of them, so, and they still were recognized, so I was like, okay, I'll do that. So I mostly submitted my poetry collections in like groups of 3, because that's about the length of my poems. Some of them I would submit like groups of 2 if they were longer poems. I don't really know what the benefits to submitting them individually are. I heard it might be better, but I really don't know. I feel like it's fine though. They're probably like the same, I don't know. But for other writing genres, like if it's a critical essay, you just submit that one essay. If it's flash fiction, you just submit that one fiction piece. Like, it's much more straightforward. So yeah, you just like copy paste your writing, put it in the box, answer a few questions about how you were inspired to write the piece, and if you used any like inspiration from online or anything. Usually like I didn't really put anything down for those parts because a lot of it was based on my own life experience. So then after that, I'm trying to remember, I think that's about it. Oh, you have to like, so you need to ask your English teacher to like sign this form saying that you wrote it, because especially because, so I guess for art it's kind of different, because like in school you can take an art class. Yeah, if you have like an art teacher, then you can just have them sign off on that form saying that the work was yours. If you're submitting writing though, like, and you don't have like a creative writing teacher, because I don't know, I personally didn't, but I just asked my English teacher in school to sign off on it, and then you have to like scan in that form, and then that's pretty much it. For art, you have to photograph whatever you're submitting, I think. I never really did that professionally. I just like used my phone. I also was never recognized for anything for art. So like I was saying before about really you just want to submit as many things as possible. I truly mean that. Literally submit as many things as possible because so I would just like spend a year just accumulating whatever writing things I had written. And when Scholastic time came along, I literally just submitted everything because yeah, I don't know. I feel like, why not? And like I said, it is kind of a random process. Like one of the things I ended up getting a gold key for was this short story that was just so badly written. I was like, should I even submit this? I don't like it at all. But I just did anyway. I think the reason they chose it was probably more for the topic matter than for the writing. And I mean, they do like, they judge holistically in the way that they look at a ton of different factors about your piece, not just the writing style. But I was still like, this is nonsense, but yeah, so that, yeah, I would just submit as much as you can and hope for the best. There's really, I know for Intel, there's like so many essays you have to write and like get through all these hurdles just to submit. Scholastic's much simpler, much more straightforward. So yeah, I don't see any harm in submitting. You're not wasting a bunch of time. It's just, it's a great contest. I really like it. I think it's like pretty accessible. So yeah. Let me know if you have any questions down below and I will try my best to get to them. Hope that was helpful. Bye!